I come from, the dogs don't bite, and stars shine bright in broad daylight, and everybody always does what's right. Where I come from, where I come from.
Seminole Manor is located a little ways off of Jackson Bluff Road, and as you can see with the trash piled near the neighborhood entrance, it isn't the easiest part of town to live in. The neighborhood realized a need, and out of that came the Seminole Manor Food Bank and the Front Porch Library. However, Adrienne Foglin, the saint of the neighborhood, as I like to call her, has seen everything from start to finish.
When my mother passed away, my father moved down here with us half of the year, and then the other half he'd go north again. But this was his house. He died in 2007. And when he died, I just didn't want to get rid of the house because it was all his stuff is still in there. You know, all the family photos and the immigration papers from Sweden for his family. And so the first thing we did was we thought, well, we'll have a children's library on the porch. So we called it the Front Porch Library. And then it expanded into the house completely. And we've used it for a lot of things. Like we've used it occasionally to house someone homeless, but, you know, mainly for the neighborhood. And then Donna came home on the day of the Women's March with a load of bread, as I remember it, and we had to give it out. And then she came home with some other stuff. So we set up some tables, and for a long time we had an outdoor stand where you could just come get anytime. And then we got a tent that Ray picked up at Goodwill for $7, I think, a mesh tent. We put that out. Then Lucky's decided they weren't going to deal with anyone who wasn't part of Second Harvest. For protection, you know, because we could poison someone. We didn't have refrigeration. We had coolers, which was not the world's best. We had a great fly population. It was really bad. And so we decided to try. And we had to get refrigerators, and people donated refrigerators and freezers. So we have 2 stand-up freezers and 4 refrigerators and a cold room that we have air conditioned all the time because it has to be 72 degrees or less in the storage space. And so then we just started doing these distributions from the porch. We've been part of Second Harvest now for several months, and it's been interesting. Getting people to run over to do the pickups is hard because it's heavy work, and you really need a truck or you'll end up spilling stuff all over your vehicle. But we now have enough people, and so we do this 3 times a week now. And in between, I have to do temperatures twice a week in all the refrigerator units and clean up, and I usually am over here before the sun rises, sorting stuff, because it goes bad as the days go by. So you get it sorted, and we have all these wonderful people sorting, but by the day after tomorrow, some of the stuff that's sorted has to be composted. Donna and Ern have chickens, so they get a lot of the stuff. We had people for a while taking stuff for pigs, but you know, it's just an ongoing thing to try to keep everything coming in and going out before it can go bad. And a lot less goes bad now that we have the cold room and all of the refrigeration.
And without the help of people like Michelle Madison, as Adrienne mentioned, the Seminole Manor neighborhood wouldn't have grown as fast as it did.
Hi, I'm Michelle Madison. I help with the Seminole Manor Food Bank because I run an organization called Farming the Future, which eliminates food deserts, and I build greenhouses. And inside of those greenhouses, I build aquaponic systems and terrestrial gardens on the outside. What I do with the food, depending on where it is, for example, if it's in schools, then the food we grow goes into a cafeteria. And whatever is left over gets donated to battered women's shelters, homeless shelters, a Second Harvest, or, for example, Seminole Manor Food Bank. So I was there in the time when they were going from just like a house with a tent outside with coolers and food. God, and you would walk into the tent and get bitten by horseflies. But it was there and it was doing what it needed to do. And then we kind of came to this transition where we needed to work with Lucky's. And that was really when I joined the team. And I worked so hard, and Adrienne especially. And so all of a sudden it became, okay, we need thermometers. Like, we need coolers. We need to have a separate room where the food is kept. I was able to be there and say, okay, well, what can I do? And so at one point, actually, you were with me when we got the other fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they needed more refrigerator space to be able to store it, but fridges are expensive. So at one point, like, you and I went and we got that fridge that was just sitting on the side of the house, like the house that was out on the lake.
A guy and his dog.
And a guy and his dog helped us load it up. And I was like, because I said to them, I was like, desperately needed more fridge space for all of, like, the lettuce and the fruit and stuff. Not like freezer space, but like fridge space. And, you can only leave certain things out of, like, refrigeration, meet compliance. And so that was really making that transition.
And it truly was that transition that made all the difference for established residents of the Seminole Manor neighborhood, such as Sammy.
I'm Sammy Pigeon. I've lived in Seminole Manor for 29 years now. Probably the camaraderie between everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets along well. It's just people coming together and helping the community out. We're not just helping our neighborhood out, we're also helping out other people from different neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. I think it's hard to get started. Actually, coming up with the volunteers
Mm-hmm.
can be hard at times, getting people to
Limited genes.
we're really limited with people volunteering. That's the biggest thing.
And we're blowing out our backs.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Man,
need
those boxes of
we
food are
need
heavy.
we need young pups.
I hope I got that.
Go recruit Gold's Gym and get us some good ones.
And just as Sammy mentioned, here's the story of one of the newer residents using the food bank and how their actions have ripple effects.
My name is Stephen Barnes. I've been coming to the Seminole Manor Food Bank maybe 4 months or so, or 3. I come in and volunteer Thursday evenings. My van broke down about almost a year ago, and I got a bike to commute to work. It was just too far to walk, and ever since then I've been biking full time. I don't drive a car anymore, and it's changed the way I've interacted with the city. In terms of like coming and picking up food at the food bank, I've got a basket on the back of my bike, but in addition to that, I have a really big trailer that I can pull behind me, and I can carry easily 100 pounds of food if I needed to, and I have maybe not quite that much in the past, but definitely can carry a whole lot of food, and so it's really like I'm not making any sacrifices with biking and picking up food from the food bank. A Seminole Manor Food Bank means just like a whole lot to me. It meets my needs for fresh fruits and vegetables, and I like to eat a diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, and so it really means that I'm able to save a lot of money on food, and I really love that it's food that would otherwise be wasted. It also means like an opportunity for me to share this food with other people as well, and so it gives me like an amazing source to bring back different things to my community and the people in my neighborhood.
They're too modest to say it themselves, but the Seminole Manor neighborhood is the very definition of loving your neighbor, and they're leaders demonstrating to the rest of Tallahassee how to build sustainable communities by uniting dignity and humanity. And really, that's why I chose this story to tell, because despite all odds, they saw a need and they decided to try. There really is something so beautiful about being able to participate in a narrative that's still being written. So please, remember this map, remember where Seminole Manor is located, and if you ever have the chance, I encourage you to stop by, because I know I was glad I did.